514, online mix, Crystal Chapter Flint. Everywhere we
What's
go.
up, everyone? You're on 514 online mix, and we have a very, very special guest. We have Dan C. Wright with us in the virtual building. How's it going today?
How's it going? Pretty good.
It's so nice to speak with you. It's crazy because I've been watching your grind for a while. So when Morgan Matthews hit me up and said that we can do this interview, I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. And also you have a very, very pretty resume that we're also going to get into as well.
Oh, thank you. I thought you were about to say my face. I was like, oh, thank you.
Well, you know what? That is definitely on the notes as well. I love your style. I love the way you present your look as well. You know what? Just because you mentioned your face, let's get into it. Why the change to blonde hair?
Oh my God. I don't know. I guess it's too young for a midlife crisis. So I don't know. You know what? I had extremely long hair.
Yeah.
Like it was literally, it was like, you know, super long, like down to my belly button almost. And I don't know. I think, I guess 6 years in LA, I guess eventually every guy bleaches their hair. I don't know.
I had a feeling. I
think so. You know, I donated it to Locks of Love. I donated to Locks of Love whenever I cut it all off. So,
congratulations.
And then I was like, since I'm cutting it all off, might as well. Yeah, no, I mean, I just like, you know, I wanted someone else who needed it to have. I hope they used it. You know, I don't know.
That's definitely
so.
A selfless act because your hair was very, very long. I think it was brown, if I'm not mistaken. All the pictures of Lina looks dark brown. Yeah. So like that's definitely a big change. And then you also moved to Los Angeles as well. So I'm like, I wonder if that helped influence your style a little bit.
Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I feel like I haven't changed too much over the years, so I don't know. But it probably did something.
So you know what?
I'm sure it did something.
We're gonna talk about one of your music videos before we get into the artist you are and your story behind this great journey you have as well. You had a music video that you were at Taco Bell. I thought
you saw that?
Yes, I thought that was amazing. I want to get into that right away. Can you tell the viewers who don't know what's the name of that track?
Okay, that's a song called Feeling Like a Million.
Yes, that was amazing. Shout out to you for that track. It was really fun. I thought the colors really popped in that music video as well. You can tell you had a lot of fun with it. Were you actually speaking to Taco Bell during that phone call?
Yeah. So I don't know. My good friend who directs a lot of my music videos, we just kind of had this idea one day, and we were like, you know, I guess it's kind of like ironic because it's like feeling like a million, and then you got like, you know, we're rapping about feeling like a million, and you think like flashy cars and like jewelry and all this stuff, and we're like, what if we did it like at a Taco Bell, you know? So it's kind of like there's this contrast. So yeah, I don't know. And then plus I had that Taco Bell shirt, and I think that kind of is really what set it off. I was like, this shirt is so cool. Like, I think that, and then we're like, you know what? Let's just go to different Taco Bells, and we got kicked out of a lot of them, of course. And there's a lot of footage that didn't make it into that video, but
I can imagine.
I think it came together nicely, and yeah, I really love the colors, like you said. Like,
well, you know,
it was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. It looked really fun. Especially as a viewer, I really enjoyed it. I enjoy your style and the different version of this pop artist you are today. I feel like you're definitely bringing out a new wave that a lot of people have not seen. And you said your genre is kind of differ from lo-fi and what else?
All kinds of, I mean, you know, I'm one of those like people. I've never really been attached to creating only one kind of music. I've always had an appreciation for everything. And like usually when people ask me, oh, what kind of music do you listen to? Like I know a lot of people hate that question, but like I really hate that question because I can honestly say I have an appreciation for every genre. Like I really do. There's like I listen to country, I listen to hip hop, you know, I'll listen to like old school, like Tejano music, like anyone who's making art, I appreciate it. So like that kind of reflects like the music I listen to and the music I create. So you know, it's just very broad. My roots were in like pop punk. I was in a pop punk band like throughout high school. We played at the Warped Tour 2007, 2008. So I was, you know, during those like formative years or whatever, I was doing that. And then when I started branching off, when I started 3D Friends, I was just like, you know, anything goes. And I started doing a lot of R&B. I started doing a lot of indie, like electronic dance, and I'll do everything. You know, I don't like to limit myself to one genre. So
I definitely feel you because it shows everything you just mentioned, and everything you just mentioned currently shows in your music, and not only your music, it shows in your social media, the way you take your pictures. There's so many different versions, styles, and it definitely keeps evolving as your pictures go on as well. And I think it's really, really interesting to see what else you're going to be doing in the future. So shout out to you for that. And you mentioned your pop, your punk band. I thought it was a pop rock band when you're around 15 years old, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, pop rock, pop punk. I mean, I don't know. I guess they're kind of like similar.
They tying together. Okay, so that's good. That's good.
But
that's really a
right
different
now,
change.
There's definitely this. Yeah, kind of. And then it's funny because like there's this whole resurgence of pop punk going on right now with like you know, Travis Barker and everything. It's like it's kind of crazy, and honestly, even like I've said this before, but like within the past 10 years, like the genres have just been merging together more and more, and you see it across everything. You hear it in pop punk and the hip hop being very close. Like, you know, you'll have like guitars with hip hop beats and stuff like that. You hear it in country. Like I'll listen to a country song, like I thought it was like a hip song, and then some dude comes out with like the country twang voice, and I'm like, what? And it's just crazy how all these genres have just kind of blended together like so much, and I love to see stuff like that too. So
I find hip hop is like the perfect genre to blend in with other genres because just the history and the journey of hip hop, it constantly was blending with other genres from the beginning. So it's only right to just keep recreating new styles of this genre.
I think of like Aerosmith, Run DMC, like that collaboration. And it just keeps going. It just keeps going.
And for like my time too, for the 90s babies, that was like Jay-Z and the Linkin Park era. That was a big movement.
Oh yeah. You want me to talk about the pop punk?
Yes,
pop rock
Let's get into that a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean that's like the first band I ever had. I was in that band all throughout high school. So I think like I started playing with those guys when I was like 14 years old. And I think it was probably maybe that same year playing shows all over Texas. We played wherever we could. And sometimes we got put into shows where we shouldn't have been, but you I think everyone kind of goes through that when you're starting out. But we were lucky enough to like get some attention back then. And I remember we were working with managers from a very, very young age.
Yes.
14, 15 years old. We had managers that I guess saw something in us, to the point where they were like putting us in, in these environments, working with Grammy winning producers and like these really expensive studios that we would have never been able to afford on our own. And like, I don't know, shopping sprees at Guitar Center. Like we had this manager who was like, took us to Guitar Sam Ash and like, all right, guys, get whatever you like, pick out whatever you guys need. And here I am, like 15 years old. Like this is crazy. So, I think there was always some kind of like validation that kept me doing music, because like most people will tell you, oh, don't get into music, no money in that. There's, I didn't like graduate high school and go straight to college and all that stuff. I dabbled in like community college on and off for a few years, but I never took like the quote unquote traditional routes in life, and it was because there was always something that validated my music career, and like, oh, I must be doing something right. I have someone believing in me. Yeah,
clearly.
So, that was fun, and then we played Warped Tour, and like we were like the coolest kids in in high school, because playing Warped Tour was like all like everyone in my scene, like that was just like the coolest thing you could do.
Oh, that's amazing
to be playing that. So I don't know, did y'all have Warped Tour in Canada?
I'm not too sure. That was many years ago. I would think I was in high school back then. Still didn't have social media. I gotta check that out. I don't remember if we had it. I know.
That was way before. That was way before social media. I think maybe MySpace was around back then.
Yeah, that was probably one of the only things who didn't really have a MySpace either. I was always just like singing for events and all that. So I have to check that out. But did you have your family support? Because you were doing this very, very young. Did your family like support you in everything you do, or were they like you should go to college, you should be a doctor, a lawyer? You know how it is. So what role did they play in this journey?
My family was always completely supportive, and I feel very blessed to have had a family like that always supported my dream. They were always supporting. They would come out to shows. They always had my back, every step of the way. And like, I'm really happy to, be able to like show them now with what I've been doing. It's like, man, he really me. They always supported me. And I was just saying, like, so now with everything I'm doing, it's like, I hope they see like, wow, anything's possible. Anything's possible. I've been, I mean, I'm not like a super sting, but I've been fortunate with the successes I've had, working with MTV and
definitely and let's
Sony
get into
Music
that MTV deal that you just like landed through a contest on. I think it was Our Stage site. Yeah, Our Stage site partnered up with MTV, and through that you submitted your work and won a contest to be your music featured on Skins.
Yep.
That's really, really big, especially
that. That was crazy. Yeah, that was like one of the craziest things in my life. I wrote a song in 2009. It was Lina Magic, 2010. I'm sorry, I wrote it in 2010. I had just started the project that my moniker 3D Friends, I had started in 2009, put out a few songs, you know, still again, like MySpace days, putting them out online, stuff like that. Didn't really know how to market my own music the best, you know. But and then it was about a year into that project. I wrote a song called Lina Magic. I put it out online. And I knew when I wrote it, it was really good. Like, I mean, like, not trying to, like, I'm not in the most humble way.
Oh, you're definitely allowed to toot your own horn. You're an artist.
I mean, yeah, like, I knew, like, I was just like, this is too good. Like, this is unreal. Like, this is, you know, like, I get scared when I write something and I'm like, this is too good. And, like, I'm scared, you know? And I had that feeling. Totally had that feeling. So... But, you know, I put it out online. I didn't know what I was doing. And I honestly don't even remember how I found the R Stage site. I guess it was, I don't know, it was just the equivalent of putting your music on SoundCloud or something like that. I don't know, something like that. And I remember at the end of uploading your music, it was like submit to something, and I didn't even read it. I had no idea that it was even a contest because I was just trying to get through the pages. I'm just like, okay, I'm just trying to upload my music, and I was trying to do this on a bunch of websites. So you know, R Stage was just another source. So I'm like, okay, what do I do? And like it's making me click something. Okay, fine, this. I'll just click this. I think it must have said skins or something.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, like a month later, it was literally a month later, is when I got a call from someone at MTV, and they're like, "Yeah, we want to use your song. We want to use your song in this theme song and as a theme song." And I'm like, "What?" Like, I don't know. It was just very surreal. It was very surreal. It took me a while to believe it. I think it literally. I was on a plane to New York. They were flying me out to New York, and that's when it like really sunk in.
I can
That's
imagine.
when it really sunk in, and that just kind of like paved the way for the next few years. I had a publishing deal with Sony Music, Extreme Music, put out an album. They started using my other songs and TV shows and movies and stuff like that. And yeah, again, that was just another thing. Like it just kind of kept validating. Like let's keep making music. Let's keep doing it. I've done this. So at this point in my life, it's like there's nothing else I can do. You know. So wow. This is my life. This is my life now.
Well, the sky is definitely the limit when it comes to you. You're also making music with Aaron Carter as well.
That is right. That is right.
So how did that come into works?
And that is like, So my really good friend, one of my best friends, Morgan Matthews. He's produced for me. I've known him for a long time. He linked up with Aaron so Aaron had used one of his beats. And then that's kind of how it all started. This was like Aaron didn't even necessarily know Morgan at the time. He just found this beat and was like, "Oh, I really like this beat." And then eventually linked up with Morgan, and then Morgan took on the responsibility of like, "Hey, well, let's do the whole album." Aaron was like, "I want you to do my whole album." So through that connection and me being very close with Morgan is how that linked up. We went to Aaron's house one day, and Aaron had heard one of my other songs, a song called "She Just Wanna Ride," and he was like, I want to do this song. I love this song. And so we went out to Aaron's house, and I don't know, we just really hit it off. And now it's like I can honestly say like I love him like a brother, and we have this really strong really strong pact now. So
oh, that's amazing.
That's working amazing. With him has been great. Yeah.
So I think you said on your social media, new music is coming around March 17th. Did I get the date right?
March 18th.
March 18th. One day off.
Yeah, one of the first singles that I wrote with Aaron is coming out March 18th. Aaron Carter featuring 3D Friends. She Just Wanna Ride. Yep. So that's actually coming up pretty soon. So,
exactly, yeah, so, very soon. Especially now with February being so short, very soon. So let's talk about 3D even sooner.
Friends. Yeah.
Let's talk about 3D Friends for those who don't know. What is 3D Friends?
That's my moniker. It's what I've gone by. You know, like I said, when I first went, solo, or I was doing the pop punk stuff all throughout high school. I think it was 18, or no, I guess I was 19 years old. Is like when I officially, things ended with my other band, and I was like, I don't know. I had just came up with that name one day, 3D Friends, and I was like, there's something about that name. It's catchy, I really like that name. I took it on as my moniker, and I was like, that's what I go by, 3D Friends. And there's been at least a few times where I feel like that just having that name alone kind of helped get me in the door into certain situations. Like, I remember the first time I met with the music supervisor, or he was like the main dude at MTV who oversees like music integration into television. I remember like one of the very first things he said to me was like, man, I really wanted to meet you because I loved that name. I loved the name 3D Friends. I just thought that was such a cool name. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, what if my name had been something else? Would I have ever gotten, who knows? I don't know. So, and then, I've had a lot of people like, just like, that's one of the very first things when I tell them, what I go by, who I am, they're like, 3D Friends, that's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a really cool name. Or they're like, or in more recent years with the whole social media craze, people will be like, how did you get that username, 3D Friends? I'm like, I don't know. What do you mean? That's my name. Like, how was that not taken already? I'm like, oh.
Yeah, and it just makes you think. It really does make your mind go when you just hear 3D Friends, because often people associate 3D with being realistic, and it's like, it's saying real friends, realistic friends. Like, what does it mean? What does it mean? So that's really a cool name. It makes your mind go when you hear it.
Thank you.
No doubt. So you have a few other hats. You have actor, producer. Obviously, you're also a writer as well. And talking about writing, you have recorded music for like MTV. You even did music for Jersey Shore, Supergirl, Punk'd, The Goldbergs, Revenge, Catfish, Dr. Oz Show, Ray, Donovan. The list continues, and this is a very impressive resume, but you have many hats.
I do right now. I'm rocking the pink beanie. No, I think that kind of like just goes back to my roots of being like just being in this industry, being an independent artist, being like, DIY. It's kind of like I've always had to do everything. I've always had to wear all those hats, like, going back to my early days and like, garage band or whatever. It was like, oh, okay, I didn't have a lot of money. Like, okay, I want to book these shows. I want to play shows. So I had to learn like how to contact. We need merchandise. Okay, I learned how to screen print T-shirts. And just everything. It's like you're forced to, unless you have like an infinite amount of money to spend on hiring people to do everything for you. Unless you have this huge team, it's like you have to be able to do different things yourself. And so it was like, you know, I didn't have money to record. Let me figure out how to record myself, you know, and that's just kind of, yeah, like I've always come from that background, and I think it just kept going. It just kept going. And so what I'm doing now, it's like, to answer your question about about the acting and stuff, that's definitely a result of like being in LA. I think there's so much of that out there, and that was kind of like, I remember at one point even thinking like, wow, this is even easier than music, you know? Like,
really?
I was finding
really?
it easier to get in like auditions, and yeah, like at sometimes, I mean, there was definitely a period where I was like, I'm just gonna be an actor, you know. But I've always loved comedy, and I lied. It's not completely LA, you know, that did that to me, because even when I was like a very little kid, I remember I had like this, you know, old school camcorders from the early 2000s, and I would make silly videos like with my sister and with my friends, and I would do like weird edits, and I did all the editing like with the camcorder, because this was like film, all right, do this scene, and then I would like stop the camera, and then it would all be like one continuous, you know, like that's it was really hard, but
one shot, one take.
That's like, there were no editing. Yeah, one shot, one take. And I would make all these, you know, different videos and stuff like that. So I guess I kind of always had a passion for acting too. And then then going out to LA, it was like lots of opportunities for that there. So
it definitely showed in the video a million. It definitely showed in that, because you, even though it was just a few seconds, it was such a huge impact on the video, and your acting skills was surely there. And I'm like,
yeah,
there's just like I said, the sky is the limit with your journey. A lot of people will look back and not see all of this, not people who didn't watch the interview before, or hear your interviews, hear your stories, will look back and be like, oh, he's lucky, or this is so he's a fortunate person. But there's a lot of hard work that you definitely put into this, and there's a lot of grinding you put into this. Like you said, you had to wear a few hats at once just to get your music out, and then that definitely shows heart in and passion in what you do. And a few artists today have that skill of basically being able to put in their all into it. And that's why some artists will shoot up and then just shoot straight down, and not being able to maintain an actual career. So this is very, very enlightening for other artists who are on the upcoming journey as well, like you, so they can see, oh yeah, you know, if I put a little bit of work to this, if I learn how to do this myself, if I can't get the money to do this, if I just choose plan B or this other door, I can still make it. So this is definitely important journey to other artists as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, and I hope, you know, I hope like, you know, anyone out there watching this, like, it does inspire them to do it. I mean, I know there's a lot of artists that do this too. I'm not unique in that sense. You know, I grew up with a lot of artists who was like, yeah, you know, you got to do everything yourself. And this whole DIY movement. There's a lot of really hardworking people out there that are always grinding and always doing everything they can.
You gotta surround yourself with those kind of people too. Yeah,
exactly. And that's why I feel very fortunate to have met, you know, Morgan, to be working with him, because I, you know, there were a lot of times like in the beginning, throughout this whole journey, where it's like, man, I wish I had more motivated people in my life. I feel like, you know, I'm doing everything myself and like carrying all this weight, and it's already hard enough. So when you meet somebody who, you know, works as hard as you, which actually Morgan works even harder than I do. He's insane. He's like, he's
well
24/7.
also a Grammy award winning producer as well.
Yeah, exactly.
How did that basically change your relationship with Morgan's, if it did, and how did that inspire you even more?
I mean, like I said, it's just you want to surround yourself with people who are doing stuff, and that's what I mean. I was fortunate to have been friends with someone who works so hard, like Morgan. So, yeah, and he's, he doesn't let anything stop him. He doesn't let anything stop him. He keeps going. He just, you get one Grammy nomination, like he'll say like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. He's very humble in that sense. Like, oh, that doesn't mean anything. Let's do this. Like, oh, you're working with Aaron Carter now. Like, let's just keep going though. Let's just keep going. So
yeah,
it's just really good to surround yourself with people like that. Because I've met other people who, like, they're still living off like this one little thing they did 10 years ago. We're like, oh, well, I wrote for this person, and it's like, yeah, I mean, obviously that's great, but like, to have that drive to just keep going and keep moving forward, and that's where that's the key.
That is the key. That is the key. You're also helping other artists as well. You're interested in connecting with new artists, new talent, and you said, you also mentioned that it is a tough journey to be on. When it comes to the music industry, it's not the easiest journey as well, and so you're able to help artists, and you want to help artists. Can you talk to us about that?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Since past couple of years, I've been working very closely with developing other artists. I was doing A&R for Addictive Music Group. So, I mean, we're really just a complete, kind of like a one-stop shop for artists and artist development. We can help you with distribution. We can help with graphic design, producing music, writing music for you, helping you get features with other artists, promotional efforts too, marketing and campaigns, running campaigns like that. So, we all just kind of feel like, how can we pay it forward? How can we keep helping other people? How can we keep doing this? How can we keep building relationships with artists? Because you never know. You never know who's going to pop off, who's going to be like, oh man, I should have talked to that person when they reached out to me, or, I should have replied to that email, so it's just like, I try to reply to everybody. I try to help in any capacity that I can. So yeah, that's what we love to do.
That. Props to you. Let's get into a little bit more of your tracks before we go. You made a song a year ago called Happy, and that definitely hit me a little differently. I really just resonated with that track. Happy, is this your state of mind right now? Is this what you're going through currently? Even though it's a year ago, is this still the same feeling of that track, or was it just something that inspired you to do something like that?
In a sense, yes, it is still, because that song, well, the full title actually is Happy parentheses will never be.
Yes.
So it's kind of like this play on words. Yeah. It's kind of like this play on words. It's kind of like never being happy, which is kind of depressing. It's pretty depressing actually, but a
lot of artists have that same mentality, like.
Oh, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I guess in a sense, it's like, yeah, never being satisfied in one way. But specifically, I will say that song was about a relationship that I was in that was toxic. I don't know. Pretty toxic. Is that what the kids are saying?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not gonna say it was completely about that, but I do know that inspired it, and it was kind of like no matter what I did, or no matter what, it's kind of like not gonna work out in this relationship. But then I applied that to this bigger overall feeling of like, we'll never be happy, you know. And again, it sounds kind of depressing, but it's ultimately supposed to be uplifting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's being real. I know a lot of people probably deal with depression, and I've definitely dealt with my fair share of it.
Same here.
Throughout my life. So it's all about, though, like staying focused, doing things that do make you happy. So yeah, there's a lot of messages and emotions and feelings into that song, and I'm glad I love that song too. I'm like,
I want to thank you for making a song like that. Definitely hit me in so many different levels, and it made me realize that, like, as so many people who go through depression, you're not alone. So I want to personally thank you for making a track like that, and that's what artistry is all about, being able to reach out to people and being able to relate to people, because that just makes you feel so much better, and it gives you a little boost of your self-esteem. Someone who has such a resume like you going through something like this, it basically makes you feel a little bit more human, and like, you know what, it's okay to go through something like this because other people go through it as well. So shout out to you for making that track.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, thank you so much.
No problem. So out of 6,000 submissions, MTV recognized you. You've been in Los Angeles Times, Voyage, Dallas. You've been featured in so many different hit TV shows. And like I said, the list goes on. Successful artist, successful producer and actor. What more does Dan C. Wright have in stores for 2022?
Well, the main things that I have coming up right now is, you know, I'm writing this album with Aaron Carter and Morgan Matthews and another really close friend, the Winter Havens, Brian Cassidy, and as well as there's, you know, I'm sure there'll be a few other writers on it. You know, this is my core team right now, and we're gonna finish this album up. We got some music videos coming out with Aaron, and as well as some other music that I have of my own. And then we have a tour. We have a tour booked, so I'll be going on tour with Aaron Carter starting in June, July. We're still booking shows. We're still adding shows every day, but we got quite a list lined up already. Ooh. So yeah,
this is definitely exciting.
Yeah. So, you know, I try not to look too far into the future, but, you know, I like to focus on the present and doing, looking forward to, you know, the immediate upcoming stuff. And that's what we're working on. That's what I'm putting all my effort and heart into right now.
Well, definitely looking forward to what more you have to offer this world and this music industry that you're in. Once again, I want to thank you so much for doing this interview with us. It was such a pleasure to speak to you. I kept you on a little bit longer. I hope you didn't mind. Just wanted to pick into your world just a little bit longer. And thank you for making that song. Like I said before, you're on 514 Online Mixed Radio, and it's your
everywhere we go, we get it in, bro. From BK to PX up in Montreal.